Hi, it's Paul Krismer, your happiness expert, and here I am in beautiful Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. And I've had a really good time here. I've been working with some mining companies, and you wouldn't believe how many big trucks there are at this resort. And it's been a bit of a tour. I'm 10 days away from home, 4 different cities over 8 days, and a travel day on either end. Philadelphia, Madison, Wisconsin, and then Kansas City, and now here, and I'm headed back to Kansas City to fly home today. And you know, I love doing what I do. I choose this lifestyle. It's a bit hard at times. You know, you're in hotels and eating by yourself at restaurants and all that kind of stuff over and over and over again. And there are times when I feel momentarily sorry for myself. I'm lonely. I'm wishing my people were around me. And maybe this video is going to share a little bit about, hey, what do we do when we're feeling a bit down? So stay tuned for that.
As international public speakers and best-selling authors, stay tuned to hear Paul and Jackson teach the practical science behind happiness and success.
Yeah, there are so many things I could talk about how to, you know, cheer ourselves up a little bit. And it's a practical thing. We all go through it, and sometimes there's harder periods than others where it's more than just a little bit of blue feelings, but it's actually, you know, depression and significant hardship. And so these tips, so long as we're not absolutely in the fetal position in bed, unable to move, all of these tips are relevant for all of us at different times in our lives. And one of the ones that I really like and I haven't talked about for a very long time is savoring. It's this idea that we deliberately daydream about some moment from our past that was really rich and wonderful and joyful. Usually it involves other people we love, but it might be an experience, being in a foreign city or a movie we really like, but some kind of savoring where we deliberately just go into our imagination, set ourselves back in that time and space, and just enjoy the richness of that experience that we had. And it's sort of like mindfulness because it's intentional in the moment, but in our imagination. So there's some parallels to mindfulness practices, and that's a good segue to the next topic, mindfulness. We just know that when we get in touch with our feelings, they're easier to manage. Often we're running away from loneliness or blue moods, and you know, we're trying to distract ourselves with social media, or we eat too much, or we watch movies, or whatever. And none of that's very healthy for us. We need to be appreciating and recognizing our emotional states. And so when we do that, even though it doesn't feel good in the moment, if we're being with our sadness, for example, it's way healthier than running away from our sadness. And speaking of running, third item, get some exercise. We know that not only does it make us feel good about ourselves, we have this sense of efficacy that we can do things that are good for us, but it's also just a really quick way to get surges of positive hormones, endorphins being the best example, that just kind of lift us up and feel invigorated and more positive. So getting any kind of exercise, and it doesn't have to be crazy vigorous. You know, a relatively speedy walk for 30 minutes is all we need, and then we're getting that rush of endorphins that we're seeking. And you know, obviously, if we do way more exercise, if you run a half marathon, then you're probably going to get more endorphins. That is true. And then fourthly, one of the things that we often do when we're feeling down is we isolate, right? We don't want to be with other people, and yet it's the opposite of what we need to do. We're tribal creatures by nature. And so if you're like me and you're far away, you know, I reach out to my sister, I call my pals back in Vegas or in Victoria, and I've got my kids that I keep in relationship with, and just all kinds of people that I know I'm going to reach out to, including my mom, right, Mom? So, you know, I'm just keeping in contact with the people I love. And even though they're far away, gosh, in these modern times with the quality of Zoom and Facebook Messenger and all these different ways that we can stay in touch with people, it can be really quite rich and as though we're right there with them. And then I guess finally, one final suggestion amongst many that we could have is find a way to be nurturing your relationship with strangers. And I know that sounds weird, but we feel powerful, and I've talked about it a few times in recent weeks. We feel powerful and capable if we can go and engage in a brief, friendly conversation with somebody who we don't already know. And the reason why this can be so powerful is we fear, to a certain extent, a little bit of rejection, which rarely happens, right? The barista at Starbucks isn't going to be mean to you. And so you can be pretty sure that a little kibitzing back and forth with somebody who's a stranger will be a pleasant experience. And not only do we feel good because we feel empowered that we're capable of these positive social relationships, we actually get these little blasts of oxytocin, the same as when we're talking to our lovers and our best friends, the stuff that bind us as communities. we get little blasts of that when we're talking to strangers. So it's a simple, easy way to get out of our own head and be connected with other people. And boy, that's thematically so true on so many things about positive psychology, is be in relationship with the people that we care about. And we can start with some strangers. Hey, that's it for this week. Hope you have a great week ahead, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.